You know, it's been said that knowledge is power, but wisdom is taking that knowledge and applying it to your life. And without that knowledge, our people will perish. We also know that the Latin meaning of the word doctor is teacher. And your doctor's job is to teach, reach, and inspire and motivate you to get that knowledge and wisdom and to change your life and the life of your family. And what if I told you that the majority of the things that you learned about health, about healing, about wellness was wrong, or maybe even a lie? Hi, my name is Dr. Eric Nepute, and I've dedicated my life to helping people get to the root cause of their problems and end human suffering. And I've really gone about this in a very non-conventional way. Let me tell you a little bit about my background. Ever since I was a child, I've always wanted to be a physician. I've always wanted to help people solve their problems. But when I started my conventional medical training, it just didn't answer the question, why? And that's where my outside-of-the-box, non-conventional health and wellness training started. You see, not only am I a primary care provider, but I also have a doctorate in natural medicine, a doctorate in chiropractic, a fellowship in functional neurology, a fellowship in internal health. I'm a certified athletic trainer. I've got a master's in clinical nutrition and 3 bachelor's degrees in human anatomy, sports medicine, and chemistry. And I don't tell you that to impress you, but to impress upon you that I think and act differently because of that. Not only do I have a very diverse educational background, but my business background is very unique as well. I've owned and operated over 30 of my own health and wellness centers that are fully integrated practices where people would come from all over the world to be seen. I've owned and operated surgical centers across the United States. I've been a part owner of a nutraceutical company. I've owned part of a hospital system. I've been involved with pharmaceutical biological companies. I've helped train thousands of doctors across the globe on how to get to the root cause of chronic illness. And as of recently, I've been honored to be a part of the Make America Healthy Again campaign, where Secretary of Health and Human Services Bobby Kennedy Jr. has asked me to be a part of the movement to help eradicate chronic illness and childhood illness across the globe. I've also testified in front of Congress at a federal and state level to help improve policies and remove some of the unnecessary regulations so that people can actually get to the root cause of their problems and not just manage the diseases. And over the past 2 decades, I've dedicated my life to understanding the human body at its most fundamental level. I've always been driven by one mission, and that's to find the root cause of health issues, not just treat the symptoms. Now, let me ask you this. Have you or anyone you know ever struggled with fatigue, brain fog, weight gain, hormonal imbalances, digestive issues, leaky gut problems, chronic pain, low libido, anxiety, mood swings, autoimmune disorders, hypertension, heart disease, or liver and kidney issues? I know the list is long, but what if I told you there was a company backed by real science and real results that can help you with all of these issues and much more? Welcome to Biolimitless. I've seen firsthand how powerful the right approach can be, and that's exactly what I want to talk to you about with Biolimitless. Because the more you understand about how you are and how your body works, the better you can help yourself and help your family. Because self-care is the real healthcare, and it begins with understanding about you. At Biolimitless, we offer unique technologies backed by research and designed to help tens of thousands of people get better every single day. Let me tell you a little bit about some of the products and how they work. Let's first talk about our Cellular Reset formula. Cellular Reset is not like any typical metabolic or performance supplement on the market. It's a peptide-based bioregulator formula designed to work at a cellular level by combining strategic peptides in a specific manner in order to improve mitochondria, improve cellular repair, and improve metabolism. Some of the amazing results that you're going to have with that is rapid fat loss. We're going to shift your body from a sugar burner to a fat burner without losing muscle mass. In fact, our peptide blend has an exercise in a bottle in it where it literally mimics exercise and helps your body build muscle while burning fat at the same time and helping systemically reduce inflammation, which accelerates tissue recovery and improves endurance, helping your body rest, recharge, and operate at its full biologic potential. Now let's talk a little bit about our cell signals formula. This is a revolutionary bioregulator formula designed to optimize cellular communication and restore cellular efficiency, supporting energy, performance, and systemic balance in the human body. Listen, as we age, the production of key cell signaling molecules decline, dropping by 90% or more by the age of 30. This disrupts our cells' ability to vibrate at a frequency for energy production, detoxification, and repair. And these changes contribute to fatigue, brain fog, slower recovery, and other age-related challenges. Cell signal combines bioavailable nutrients to offset those issues and help restore optimal performance to the human body. Now, I'm sure many of you know that we're living in an era where anxiety, depression, insomnia, and mental illness are off the charts and rising. Our Neural Reboot formula is a potent tripeptide bioregulator formula designed to help rewire brain function, refire metabolic processes, and reboot cellular regeneration. This advanced blend of peptides works synergistically to restore balance at a cellular level, helping you think clearer, feel stronger, and perform at your best. This formula helps cellular renewal restoration, helps metabolic activation, cognitive function optimization. It connects the brain-gut axis, which helps maintain the communication between the neurotransmitters of your gut and your brain, and it helps with cellular vitality and is the key to longevity. Now, since we're speaking of the brain-gut connection, let me tell you about one of my favorite formulas, our Master Microbiotic formula. It is a clinically validated bioregulator formula designed to optimize gut health and recolonize the microbiome with potent spore-based master microbes, and is supported by gut-healing regenerative peptide known as BPC-157, the healing peptide. Utilizing our patented phytomicroencapsulation technology, this formula delivers beneficial probiotics directly into the small intestine where we need them the most. This formula helps restore gut health, boost immune system, and enhances overall well-being in the human body. Now, in our increasingly toxic world, we are bombarded with harmful substances every single day, from heavy metals to microplastics to pesticides, herbicides, larvicides, fungicides, all these chemical toxins that make us toxic. Over 90% of Americans have detectable levels of harmful chemicals in their body that is literally killing them. Our Detox Pro Plus formula is built to combat this toxic burden and support natural detoxification in a safe, daily usable formula, scientifically backed with ingredients that bind and remove toxins while restoring balance at a cellular, genetic, and microbial level. This advanced blend also supports mitochondrial function, healthy inflammation markers, and promotes gut and liver detoxification processes. By targeting the root cause of toxic accumulation, Detox Pro Plus helps restore energy, strengthen immune function, and revitalize overall well-being while empowering the human body to function properly. Now, unlike most healthcare experts, at BioLimitless, we test, we don't guess. Now, I'm not here to discredit traditional healthcare, but if you've been searching for a better way, one that understands how your body works at a genetic and a cellular level, then BioLimitless is the answer. At BioLimitless, we know that true health starts within you. You have the power to transform your life, but it has to start with you. Self-care reimagined begins with you understanding more about yourself. Our BioLimitless DNA Discovery Kit measures over 800,000 genetic markers in your body and gives you the map and the blueprint how to live your life. If you don't understand how to live your genetic lifestyle, I don't care what vitamins, minerals, and supplements you take, you're not optimizing your production. What if there was a test that you could take from home that could measure how you should sleep, how you should exercise, what supplements you should have, when you should take them, what types of injuries your body's prone to, and much, much more? This test by itself has been an absolute game changer for thousands of my patients, and it'll be a game changer for you as well. At BioLimitless, we know that health starts from within. You have the power to transform your health, but it has to start with you. So let's get started today. Go to the link below, explore the products, and join the thousands who have found a better path to health with BioLimitless. Click the link, take control of your health, and transform your life, because self-care is the real healthcare. Hey everybody, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's Dr. Eric Nepute. Hope you guys are having a blessed day wherever in the world you guys are. I see so many of you out there today. It's Friday morning.
Good Friday morning, Abid. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, Christine, Dr. Christine in Texas. Linda, how are you doing in Canada? Hello, Denise in Missouri. It's cold this morning in Missouri. It was like 13 degrees Fahrenheit coming in my office this morning. Hey, Miss Renee, great to see you. Hope you're doing well. Listen, y'all, today is our Friday morning. It's our AMA. I'm going to spend about an hour, maybe a little more today going over your questions. I'd like to have some deep, meaningful conversation today about your health. And Sven, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening in Norway. Hope you're well. Jason, good day in Michigan. Dina, how are you this morning? Let me know where you guys are watching from. Hey, Carrie in Minnesota. And then let me know what questions you guys have about anything. Hey, Erwina, great to see you this morning. One of my favorite people, amazing patient of mine. So, hey, let's hey, Vivian, great to see you. Let's get into some of your questions that you've got this morning. And I want to start off with a question that came at me this morning early when I was having a conversation with a patient of mine who I take care of from Europe. And we were talking this morning about a diagnosis, about being diagnosed with certain things. Okay. And Kaylee, actually, I was talking to someone in the UK as well. So Kaylee's in the UK. Good to see you. And we were talking about, this person was so relieved that they were diagnosed. They were like, oh, I've got this diagnosis. It's called POTS, positional orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And, I just feel so much better that I have this diagnosis. Let me just tell you something. I want you to understand something. You are not your diagnoses. Like, it doesn't end with your diagnosis. That's not even really where it begins. It's all about finding the root cause of the problem. And listen, this is when you come into a functional medicine, functional neuro root cause doctor's office like mine. When you do a report of findings with your doctor, you're probably going to spend a good 30 minutes, explaining everything. And I have my patients record their report of findings with me so that they have an understanding of what the hell's going on with them. Because I really want to know I want to know from you guys, like, when you go to a doctor, do you want the doctor to tell you what's wrong, why it's going on, what things you can do at a root to really fix it? Or do you want us just to go, hey, take this drug, or even the same, hey, take this supplement? Because you're not fixing your disorders or your diseases with supplementations or peptides alone. Those are tools in a toolbox, and so I was talking to this patient this morning in the UK, and we were talking about high blood pressure and how their blood pressure goes up every time they stand up. And we were discussing that they said, well, what supplement should I take for blood pressure? Well, there isn't one. Like, you need to understand that there are multiple causes of high blood pressure, and there are multiple causes of your diseases. So how I want to operate, what I want to do is I want to help people understand the root cause of a problem so they can fix it. Like, for example, one of the main root causes and main triggers of high blood pressure is too much sugar and too much carbohydrates in your diet. And look, Denise says, listen, don't get mad at your doctors when they can't have these conversations. Denise says, I tried to talk to my doctor about root cause. It goes nowhere. Well, please don't get upset with your doctor because of that, because listen, they don't know. They're not trained on it. And just because somebody has a DR in front of their name does not mean that they have a clue of what's going on. That means that they showed up at school long enough, they were disciplined long enough to accomplish something and to achieve a certification, that they sat in a seat and passed some exams. All the doctors are not equal. Please understand that. And so, like, for example, I really would love to answer this question. This is a question from one of our friends up in Canada. And Linda says, hey, will what you do help with anxiety and depression? Linda, let me help you answer that. So first of all, we see folks in our practices all the time, whether it's virtually or in our brick and mortar facilities. Like, I'm in one right now. The people that come have anxiety and depression all the time. I want you to understand something. There was a recent study that was done out of the University of Minneapolis that actually showed that lifestyle change, diet, nutrition, and exercise, I know those are like 4-letter words for some people, right? But diet, nutrition, and exercise actually outperformed antidepressant and anxiety medications by over 86%. So when you have anxiety and depression, why is your doctor not prescribing exercise? Okay. Why is your doctor not prescribing a proper food plan for you? And the foods for anxiety and depression, you just need to avoid carbohydrates. Like fats and proteins help the brain chill out and relax, repair and heal. Carbohydrates are stimulatory. And because the food pyramid was upside down for the last 40 years, we've literally been shooting ourselves in the foot, eating a carbohydrate dense, carbohydrate rich food. And I'll just tell you right now, yeah, we have a fantastic supplements and peptides and protocols to take to help with depression. I'm going to break that down a little bit in just a second, Linda. But I mean, how many of you guys want to learn more about depression and anxiety? I'll show you how to help with it. It's really not difficult. And I'll give you some biohacks. I just don't want you to think that mental illness is just some unlucky thing. In fact, most mental illness is a gut problem. It's either your GI tract is off. Your GI tract is where 90% of your neurotransmitters are made that tell your brain to be happy, satisfied, fulfilled, feel loved, joyed, appreciated, respected. Like it's literally in your gut, right? And so if your gut's a mess, and some 90 to 95% of the global, at least westernized eating society has abnormal gut bacteria. So if you don't have the right type of gut bacteria, and you can't fix that by just taking regular off the shelf, over the counter probiotics, you cannot do that. It's not possible. I tried to do that with my patients for over a decade, and I literally pulled my hair out because they weren't getting any better. And so that's why we created a gut restoration protocol that really helps the body knock out the bad bacteria, because we want to kill off the bad bugs. And then we want to rebuild the good bacteria back in the body. And we do that through eating for several ways. Eating, number one, for our genetic lifestyle. If you know your genetic code, and eating that way is going to be the best way for you to eat. Number two, eating for your body type. That's a big one. You know, there are 4 body types: adrenal body type, thyroid body type, hormonal body type, and a liver body type. And learning how to eat for your body type can be a massive game changer, not just for anxiety and depression, but for all things. And then also knowing your blood type. Like if you know what your blood type is versus, you know, your body type versus your genetics, you'll really know how to eat for that season that you're in. So that's number one. And then, you know, most people don't have depression and anxiety. They have a methylation problem. Let me say that again. Most people don't have anxiety and depression. They have a methylation problem. I mean, listen, in my practices, some 74% of individuals who come through here that we run genetic testing on, and we've now done over 100,000 genetic tests over the last 20 years with our patients, we find that 74% of them have some type of methylation dysfunction. And when we give them methylated B vitamins, when we give them, here, I'll show you, when we give them methylated B vitamins, we created a formula called Cell Signal that has the methylated B vitamins. So you want to have a folate that is L5 methyl folate. So the L5 MTHF is what you want. There's a small percentage of the population that can't handle that, but they're like little small percent. So you want the methylated folate, you want methylcobalamin, you got to have BHB. Listen, BHB, when you are dealing with methylation issues, if you take beta hydroxybutyrate, which is the most powerful exogenous ketone stimulator, it shifts the fuel in your brain from sugar, which is carbohydrates, to fats. Well, ketones heal the brain and the body. So if you have mental illness, mental inflammation, anxiety, depression, etc., BHB can be a great stimulant to move you in that right direction. That's why we put that in the Cell Signal. You add that to a ketogenic diet, we can knock out depression and anxiety really quickly, like really quickly. Okay. I'm talking like at the root of it. Most people have methylation issues and gut issues causing their depression. And you also want to have things like L-tyrosine and L-carnosine and phosphatidylserine. Those are so good for balancing out sympathetic, parasympathetic activity. When you have depression and anxiety, the part of your brain that's the fight or flight response is stuck on go. And listen, I'll tell you, we measure vagus nerve and parasympathetic and sympathetic activity in my practices in our functional neuro department. And I'm surprised when someone comes to see me that does not have sympathetic overload. Like, unless they've been, awake to the fact that they should be doing vagus nerve exercises. And Linda, that's one thing that you could start doing right now. If you don't know how to do that, just go to YouTube and look up vagus nerve exercises. And we have them on our website at biolumis.com. But if you'll do that, that could change your life forever. And you can literally stimulate your vagus nerve, Linda, by humming, gargling, right? Because any stimuli in the back of the throat back here will help with that. There are devices that you can put on. We use in our practice, we have a electrical therapy we put on called an ARP neuro. Excuse me. It's an electrical, it's a DC current. We put electrode here and here on the carotids, and then we put them on the upper trap so that we can stimulate the vagus nerve, the glossopharyngeal nerve, and the spinal accessory nerve to get that part of the brain that helps you rest, relax, grow, and develop to go higher. And then your stress response goes down. It's also a lot of times depression and anxiety, especially this time of the year, is low vitamin D3. I mean, vitamin D3 is one of the most important compounds that are necessary for making neurotransmitters and hormones, and it regulates your immune system. And low D3, especially when the sun's not out right now during flu season, which there is no such thing as flu season. There's a time of the year when flu viruses or other viral loads are higher inside of buildings, and that's when the humidity's low, like it is now. And people are eating more carbohydrates this time of the year, sugars and breads and pastas that are weakening the immune system. I mean, this is just common sense. And they're not getting sunshine and they're not getting fresh air because it's cold outside and it's dark in the morning and it's dark in the afternoon. So taking some vitamin D3, most adults will supplement around 10,000 international units a day of vitamin D3. And that's a really great place for people to be. But you should test, not guess, right? Get your blood test done and make sure that your vitamin D is between an 80, like ideal world on a blood test, it's between an 80 nanograms per milliliter and 100 nanograms per milliliter. You do that and you'll do fantastic. And then magnesium. You want to add magnesium glycinate. See, you don't need vitamin K2 to absorb D3. There's a lot of people that believe that to be the case, but it's just not true. Magnesium, on the other hand, does. Magnesium helps with absorption of vitamin D, and vitamin D helps with absorption of magnesium. And a lot of people have a genetic imbalance called the VDR gene. I have that gene. And a lot of patients of mine have that, where they have to take extra vitamin D and magnesium because they don't have the receptor sites genetically to absorb it. You do that, and then you add, so like 500 milligrams once or twice a day of magnesium glycinate, and then you add some zinc and copper as well. But that makes a huge difference. Okay, so anxiety and depression are totally treatable. Those are symptoms, not root cause. And Wellbutrin and these other anti-depression medications, they don't work. In fact, they've never been proven to work. They've never been proven safe or effective, but the medical world doesn't have any other tools. So that's why you have those. Okay. That's why you get those medications, because they don't know what else to do. And if you're unwilling to make the changes, like prioritizing sleep, like taking your supplements like you should, like eating like you should, and exercising like you should, then there's no way you're going to be able to get rid of your anxiety and depression. And I'll tell you this. So pretend this is your blood sugar levels, okay? So what happens is every time you eat a meal, your sugars go up, and then after they drop down. So whatever goes up, like it goes up positive 10, eventually it'll drop down negative 10, especially with most people because their livers aren't working like their liver is not working like it's supposed to. But let me show you something. When your blood sugar spike, that's anxiety. When your sugars drop, that's depression. So a lot of people have bipolar symptomatology. It's spike, drop, spike, drop, spike, drop. I mean, that's manic depressive, all because of blood sugars. That's why a ketogenic carnivore food plan helps stabilize blood sugars better than the standard American diet. And that's also why you should have at every meal at least 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal. Ladies, you should be getting 100 to 120 grams a day of protein. Guys, you should be getting a minimum of 150, 160 grams a day of protein. Like, that's what you should be doing. If you'll do those things, like I just told you right there, I just gave you so much information right there that literally anxiety and depression can totally be you can help reverse a lot of those problems just with doing that. Now, there's a lot of other nuances that need to be kind of dug away and you need educated on, but that's a pretty damn good place to start. Guys, make sure, first of all, I'm Dr. Eric Nepute. If you guys don't know me, functional medicine, functional neuro doctor. I've been doing this before that term was cool. In fact, I was doing it whenever they used to come after doctors like us. In fact, I got sued by the United States federal government during COVID. I had over 11,000 patients come through my practices. Nobody died. Nobody went to the hospital. And I got sued for $508 billion. Go look it up. It's legit. And after a long, exhausted battle, I won my lawsuit against the government. And it's just crazy. The U.S. is just like the rest of the world. They're protecting the financial interest as opposed to my job is to protect my patients. It's a whole different ballgame for me. And we fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and rulers and high, dark, evil places. So, Ann, hey, Ann, good morning. Ann says, hey, doc, my husband was diagnosed with shingles, okay? Doctor prescribed him gabapentin, 300 milligrams 3 times a day. Okay, so what should we do instead of taking the drugs? All right, okay, this is really important. I want to explain to all of you about Epstein-Barr virus and shingles. Okay. So there are certain viruses, like, let me tell you about shingles. And this is important. I want everybody to hear this. It's so important. Please listen to me, because if you'll understand this concept, and I don't know why it's so difficult for me to either explain it or people to grasp it, but okay. When you have shingles is a Zostra virus. It's a chicken pox virus. Okay. And you guys, we all are exposed to chicken pox, okay? And by the way, the data is really clear. If you get exposed to chicken pox at a young age, naturally, you have less chances of getting other viral infections and other infections, period. Even leukemia goes down and other types of cancers if you've been exposed to chicken pox naturally. That's what the data and research shows, as opposed to getting a shingle or a vaccine for chicken pox. So, let's talk about shingles. Shingles is a viral dormant infection from old chickenpox virus, a Zostra virus. Okay, that's what's called the Zostra virus. What happens is when you get infected with a Zostra virus, by the way, you never get rid of viruses. Do you know that? When there's viruses in your body, you don't, like, when you have a Zostra virus or an Epstein-Barr virus or a cytomegalovirus virus, you never get rid of it. It integrates into your body, all right? It integrates into your body. Somebody just said there's no volume. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Let me know. Cheryl, it might be your perfect. It might be your phone or something. But listen, when you have a virus that gets in your body, I mean, think about your body's like a computer. You have computer coding. It's your DNA, okay? And a virus goes in and infects and attaches to your DNA, and it integrates into that, just like a computer virus, okay? So when you have a virus, it never leaves your body. It integrates into your system. Thank you for the thumbs up, okay? So now check this out. When you get a virus, your immune system has helper T cells and killer T cells. This is your immune system. These are your soldiers. Your helper T cells are like your generals. Their job is to go out and say, oh, there's the bad guy. The bad guy's right there. And then it goes to the killer T cells and says, hey, I saw the bad guy. It's a Zostra virus. It's sitting out over there. I need you to go get that virus, grab it, and go throw it in cellular prison. Go throw it in cellular jail. So the killer T cells grabs it, puts it into the what's called microbiome. That's how your body integrates it into the microbiome, not the biome, that's the bacteria, but into the microbiome, into your body's code. And then it just puts it in jail, and there's a guard. Those T cells sit there and guard that virus so it can't get out, so it can't escape prison, okay, cellular prison. But what happens is if the body is stressed out physically, chemically, and emotionally, if there's some type of negative thoughts, traumas, or toxins in the body says, hey, I need all soldiers to go fight this thing. And so now the T cells, that's the prison guard for the Zostra virus or the Epstein-Barr virus or the Lyme's issues, are going to leave. And now guess what happens? As soon as that guard leaves, that virus escapes. And Zostra virus lives inside the nerve root. And so if you look at the nerve roots, I wish I had I have one in my other room, a diagram of the nerves. If you look at the nerves, they are like linear. So that's why you see breakouts of shingles in like a pattern. It'll follow the nerve pattern. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about what to do if you have a breakout, especially of shingles. Okay. So if you have a breakout of shingles, here's what you do. If you have an active breakout of shingles, your immune system is not working in the manner it's supposed to. There's 4 things I have my patients do. Okay. Number 1, get some vitamin D3. You're going to do this for about 5 days, regardless of if the symptoms go away within a day or 2. You're going to do this for at least 5 days. Vitamin D3. I want you to do 100,000 international units of vitamin D3 for 5 days. Okay. Vitamin D3 is it regulates the cytokines. It regulates the immune system response in the body. So 100,000 IUs of vitamin D3 a day for 5 days. I do that with all my patients with shingles outbreak. Number 2, zinc glycinate, okay, or a chelated form of zinc. You're going to do 100 to 120 milligrams once a day of zinc glycinate or chelated form of zinc. Zinc is an iontopher. Zinc stops viruses from replicating. Okay. Now, sometimes you need to take something with that zinc to help it absorb. Okay. Drink some water with some sea salt. That will help absorption of it. Or you can drink some quinine. You can literally drink some tonic water. Okay. You guys remember when Schweppes tonic water was going crazy all over the place? Everybody bought Schweppes tonic water. Schweppes still has never sent me a check for that, by the way. Anyway, that was during COVID. So those are 2 things that you do. Number 3, there's a herb called astragalus. Okay. Astragalus. Astragalus is an herb that really helps the immune system bolster up and get strong. All right. With astragalus, typically if you have an active breakout of shingles, I'm going to have you do 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day. 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day of astragalus for at least 5 days. Okay. Now, the last thing that we're going to do, the 4th thing that we're going to do is a amino acid called L-lysine. L-lysine is fantastic for drying up a shingle, and it's really good for putting that zoster virus back in, cellular prison. So L-lysine, you're going to do, if it's an active outbreak, 3,000 milligrams 3 times a day for 5 days. Usually within that 5-day pattern, it goes away. Now, here's what else you need to understand. If that shingle is if it's on the arms or back or legs, if it's on the face, it's a little different, but if it's on the neck, the arms, the back, the legs, go to the chiropractor, go get adjusted, because wherever that nerve comes out of the spine, okay, let me show you this. This is a model of the spine. Okay. So pretend this is your spine, right? Okay. There's your spinal cord. You got these nerves that come out of the side. When your vertebrae are misaligned or compressed and not moving, it's going to irritate that nerve root. If that zoster virus is living in that nerve root and it gets irritated, you're going to have inflammation. Then you're going to get an outbreak of that shingle. So chiropractic adjustments. Typically, if I have someone who's got a shingle outbreak, I'm going to see them every day until their shingles outbreak is gone. Okay. Now, what I put on it topically, what we tell people to put on it topically, get some zinc oxide and get some castor oil. Okay. So mix that zinc oxide and castor oil and put that on there, and that'll help dry it up and get rid of it pretty quick. So those are the things that you do. Those are the things that you do to help with an active outbreak. And it's not that difficult. But here's the thing, though. When you have an outbreak, it means the immune system is under stress. That means his body is out of balance, and we've got to bring balance back to the system. Remember, the body has to have a balance of 3 things. You have to have a balance of your physical well-being, you have the balance of your chemical well-being, and you have to have a balance of your neuro-emotional well-being. It's a triad of health. And something's off with one of those 3 or multiple of those 3, and that's what's causing those shingles outbreaks. So if you'll do that, that will help immensely. And then after 5 days, if it's not gone in 5 days, that's when you need to do something else. I will tell you, I am not a big fan of medications and drugs and etc. However, I will tell you, shingles freaking hurts, especially if it's on your face, in your eye. I mean, listen, that's why I tell people, get your butt in my office every day until this outbreak's gone. Now, if you're a patient of mine, here's another bonus that we do is we do vitamin C IV. we'll give a patient anywhere between 50 grams up to 100 grams of vitamin C in one setting in an IV, and that is a massive boost to the immune system. That's like giving bullets to your killer T cells on a level that most people don't even know is possible. So those are the things that you do. Now, to maintain those things, astragalus, 1,000 milligrams a day is really good. Using L-lysine. If you have outbreaks of like herpes viruses or Epstein-Barr flare-ups or even shingles flare-ups, those are all part of the herpes family. L-lysine helps. So like 1,000 milligrams a day of L-lysine is a good place to be. And having a carnivore ketogenic or ketogenic carnivore diet is a really, really good place to do that. Okay. Great question. You guys, let me know if that makes sense. Does that explanation make sense? Because it's true for Epstein-Barr virus, the same as it is for cytomegalovirus virus, the same that it is for Zoster virus. I mean, I'll just tell you right now, most of y'all's autoimmune issues, especially your lupus, is because of Epstein-Barr. And it's not the Epstein-Barr that's the problem, because 90 to 95% of the population has Epstein-Barr exposure. 90 to 95% of them do. And so you got to do these protocols for it. Okay. All right. Put your questions in the chat below, you guys. All right. Put your questions in the chat below. Good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Miss Jenna says, hey doc, how do you treat Lyme disease? Well, you got to understand that Lyme disease, like all disorders and syndromes and diseases and etc., are that's so cool. And they're multifaceted. Okay. So with Lyme disease, we got to look at things like the cofactors that go with it, Bordella, spirochetes, all the other cofactors. We treat it from a viral standpoint and we treat it from a bacterial standpoint. We treat it really the same way, that we treat all problems. I test, don't guess. I find out where the problems are physically, chemically, and neuroemotionally. And then we start fixing, excuse me, a little dust particle come by and I swallowed that booger. So we treat the root cause of the problem. Okay. And so we look at physical, chemical, and emotional stresses. And then wherever there's deficiencies or toxicities, we remove those, we add those, we do whatever it takes to fix those problems. Now, here's what I will tell you. I studied with Dr. Eric Rentz. Dr. Eric Rentz is one of he's a world-renowned Lyme disease expert in upstate New York. For a long time, we were told that Lyme isn't real. Like doctors used to tell me that my patients don't have Lyme. And I'm like, my gosh, your medical doctors used to tell you that Lyme is not real. Why do you go see these people? I know why, because you don't know any better. You don't know that there's something else that can be done. Like, holy crap, man. Yeah, Dr. Eric Rentz is in upstate New York. Yep. So I studied with him for a while. So here's what we do. You got to balance the gut. You can knock out Lyme disease if you keep, you're going to keep it in remission. You never 100% get rid of it. Okay. It's kind of like I tell my patients, once you're a diabetic, I'm always going to treat you like you're a diabetic. Okay. You can still, every once in a while have some carbs and sugars, but you got to be smart about it, because once you have something, you're predisposed for that to become problematic, yet again. So in that breath, we use gut bacterial rebalancing. So our master microbiotics, we teach people to eat fermented foods. We recolonate the gut bacteria. We're going to kill off the bad bugs. And we're going to use some silver. We use silver orally, and we use silver intravenously for Lyme disease. We use the Linus Pauling protocol for vitamin C, liposomal vitamin C. If you don't want to use ascorbic acid, which is fine if you don't want to use that. We use liposomal ascorbic acid all the time, and we don't ever really have any problems with it. Our patients do fine with it, and I'm totally fine. Like, I'm a super crunchy person, but I also know that, it's hard to get, 10,000 IUs of vitamin C in your body a day, or 5,000 IUs a day from camu or elderberry. And I love elderberry and I love camu. Those are the natural ways to get, vitamin C, but it can be done. So we do the Linus Pauling dose for vitamin C. We always double up and load up our Lyme disease patients on D3, magnesium and zinc. That's a big one for them. Astragalus, just like I said, for the Epstein-Barr and cytomegalovirus and the any type of herpes virus, we always use astragalus when they're in an active flare-up. Usually it's 3,000 milligrams a day. If not, it's just a daily dose of 1,000 milligrams a day. Those are really powerful deals to do. And I will tell you that Lyme responds really well to intravenous vitamin C. Really, really well. Our patients that have Lyme do, because it's all about boosting the immune system and reducing inflammation. And so it's also about changing their diet and getting them to exercise. Like, just so you guys know, the foundation for everything that I do, whether our patients want to hear it or not, is I tell them, if you want to be well, okay, you have to have the foundation right. So I got to have you sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night. I got to have you getting the protein macros in your diet every day. I got to have that. I got to have your body having at least one bowel movement a day. I've got to have your cells signaling turned up. So I got to get methylation working. We have to open up the detox pathways. And you got to eat well, think well, breathe well, move well, and all those things, or else you're not going to be well. So it's really not difficult to deal with these issues, but you have to understand that it's a process, and it's not just like throwing spaghetti up against the wall. You've got to test and retest and see how the body does. So, sorry, I'm getting a question here. Put your guys' questions in the chat, okay? Yeah, put your questions in the chat and I'll answer those, okay? Let's see. Stephanie said, hey, good morning, Doc. I had West Nile virus 2 years ago and still experiencing cognitive effects. Hey, okay, Stephanie, listen, I want you to do this, okay? I want you to do a little test for something. I want to see if that virus is still circulating in your body. Viruses enter the body through either ACE2 receptors or nicotinamide cholinergic receptors in the body. Go get some nicotine patches. Go do this. Go get, let me see if I have any here. Yep, here. All right, Stephanie, go get some nicotine patches. I'm not kidding you. So here's what I want you to do. Today's Friday, all right? Stephanie, go to Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, somewhere. Go get some nicotine patches. You can get Tolvita, which is the organic form, or you can go get a nicotine patch. Get a 7 milligram nicotine patch. As long as you can handle the 7 milligrams, take that nicotine patch, put it on your shoulder, okay? So Stephanie, today's Friday. Go do it today. Wear that thing all day today. Take it off before you go to bed tonight. Wear it all day for the next 3 days. Take it off every night. Like every morning when you wake up, put a 7 milligram nicotine patch on. If 7 milligrams is too strong, cut it in half and do 3.5 and wear that nicotine patch. Do that for the next 3 days. And then when we are back live next week, I want to hear from you, Stephanie. And I want you to tell us what you noticed, how your cognitive brain, what are you thinking? What's going on? Let us know, because that could be the first place that we need to start, is blocking that virus from replicating. I'm going to take a picture of this so I can send it to my team, because I want to make sure that they know that we want to check on Miss Stephanie next week and see how she did with her detox from this virus. Okay. Let's see here. Donna says, hey, are doctors able to write prescriptions for quinine anymore? Man, you know what? That's a good question. You can. You have to find. So what's really sad is when Obamacare came through, I forget what year it was, but when Obamacare came through, it wiped out and decimated a lot of the compounding pharmacies. Look, we used to be able to compound almost anything because there were tens of thousands of compounding pharmacies all across the United States of America. And then when Obamacare came in and the PBMs took over basically the pharmaceutical industry, and the PBMs are the pharmaceutical middlemen who actually are controlled and owned by the pharmaceutical, the insurance companies own those. So the insurance companies are triple and quadruple dipping. Like, your insurance companies control your entire ecosystem. You know that, right? Like the insurance company controls the pharmaceutical benefits manager. So they make money off that. They own the doctor's offices now. They control like some of the pharmaceuticals. You have to use their drugs under their plan, and they try to tell you that, oh, it's an ecosystem for our patients. No, it's a business cash grab. I mean, it really is, because you're not getting the care that your body needs at all. So you can get quinine, but it's not that easy. You can get quinine in I can't the name. It's the tea. It's Chicona root tea, Chicona tea. That's where you can get quinine in Chicona root tea. There's a little bit of it. Actually, there's a decent amount of it in tonic water, but you got to be careful because there's a lot of sugar in tonic water. Okay. Mama D says, "Hey Doc." By the way, good morning, Mama D. Hope you're good. She says, "Hey Doc, what do you think about chlorine dioxide?" Listen, chlorine dioxide. I'm a fan of chlorine dioxide. It's used in water treatments. It's antiviral, antiparasitic. It's anti-protozoa. It's used in hospitals as a disinfectant. We used to use it a lot. Basically it's a compound that steals electrons from microbes. So if it takes the electrical charge from a microbe, it can kill it. The problem is it's vilified by big pharma. We've used chlorine dioxide off and on for years in our practices, but it's not as easy to get. It's a lot more regulated than it used to be. It should be just in your water supply. Y'all should just be using that. What's going on there? 1 second. Not sure what happened here. Let's try that again. Give me 1 second. There we go. Sorry. We're losing power there for a minute. 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. It's going to get a little choppy just for a minute. Okay. So, Mama D, I hope that answers your question on that. Let's talk about ivermectin. So you just asked a question about ivermectin as well. Give me 1 second. Let me send this answer to my team. They're asking me, I got a couple patients that I'm managing their care while I'm talking to you guys as well. Give me just 1 second here. There we go. Okay, so I'm a big fan of ivermectin. We use ivermectin in my practice. We've been prescribing ivermectin for almost 20 years. And we were using ivermectin before it was cool, right? And so we prescribe it. We have a compounding pharmacy that we use that makes it. I know that Missouri this year, we're supposed to have legislation passed that's going to allow us to get ivermectin over the counter without having to go to your doctor for a prescription, which I think is fantastic. I know Tennessee, a couple other states just did the same thing. But Missouri's getting ready to do that. We use ivermectin for all kinds of issues. Not just for antiparasitics. We use ivermectin for inflammation. We use it for our patients that we're co-managing with oncology, with cancers. There's a lot of reasons to use ivermectin. We're big fans of it. And COVID actually brought massive awareness of ivermectin to the world. And you got to be remembering, folks, like when doctors who know better, and if they don't, they're just either in on it or they're useful idiots. Like they were calling ivermectin horse paste. Like what kind of an idiot would say that? That shit was made for humans first. And I have so little respect for these people because you can just tell that they don't give a crap about you. And quite honestly, they don't give a crap about themselves. So I'm a big fan of ivermectin. I think that's a good one. Lori says, "Hey Doc, what about liver cleanses? What do you suggest?" Okay, so first of all, let me help you guys with detox. Yesterday, I was talking about this a lot, and I hope you guys understand this. There's 4 parts of detoxification. Liver's the third part of it, okay? But if your bowels aren't moving, you do not do a liver cleanse, okay? If you're not pooping, okay? If you're not having at least 1 bowel movement a day, and I mean a day, you really should be having 2 a day, but if you're not having at least 1 solid bowel movement a day, then we got to handle that first. And I'm going to give you a real simple solution for getting your bowels to move. Okay, so everybody remember this or write this down, all right? Twice a day, get yourself, first thing in the morning, get yourself a glass of water, either warm water or room temperature, not cold. We shouldn't be drinking a lot of cold beverages, okay? So what I want you to do is get the water. I want you to get some of the, some sea salt. Oh, I don't have any here. Some sea salt. Put about a half of a tablespoon or a full tablespoon of sea salt in the water, the big one, right? Get the Detox Pro Plus, 2 dropperfuls of this Detox Pro Plus formula, and put that in your water, and then get a squeeze of lemon or lime, stir that up and drink that down in the morning. That'll help get hydration into your bowels. And then in the evening time, do the same thing. But now I want you to add a half of a teaspoon of chia seeds and let it sit there for like 10 minutes. Okay. If you let it sit there for like 10 minutes, then it'll soak up the fluids, and you drink that down. Those chia seeds will give you a nice little fiber as well. It'll feed the bacteria in your gut, and then it'll push out some of the the bowel issues that are not coming out in the morning. You do that twice a day. That'll keep your bowels moving and grooving. So you got to reverse it, right? You got to get the bowels moving first, then you can open up the liver. And so I'm a big fan of like you're saying, bowels aren't moving with baking soda, add more salt. Okay. And use that protocol I was just talking about. And then when the liver's congested, we have an entire liver detox protocol that we put together for you guys all to have access to and through for BioLimitless. And those protocols are, they're accessible to you guys. They don't cost anything for you to get. And basically we use milk thistle. So milk thistle, about 1,000 milligrams a day of milk thistle. It opens up the glutathione pathways for the liver. We also recommend using something called TUDCA, TUDCA, TUDCA. About 300 to 500 milligrams of TUDCA a day is a great place to be for opening up the liver and getting the bile to release. And then, I typically do liver cleanses for about 45 days, so 6 weeks with folks. And 2 or 3 times during that 6-week protocol, we use Dr. Hulda Clark. If you don't know who Dr. Hulda Clark is, you need to look her up. Dr. Hulda Clark was a Canadian physician who taught people how to do gallbladder cleanses, liver cleanses, gallbladder flushes by using organic apple juice, because the malic acid in there, and olive oil. And using that, man, it'll blow all kinds of stuff out. So you definitely should be, Lori, definitely be doing that. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Let me know. Okay. Mitzi says, hey doc, is there anything natural for cholesterol? I'm on 3 pills and a shot. Okay. Everybody listen to me. All right. Okay. So, oh man, maybe I can draw it over here. Can you see that? You know what? I'm just going to do it. Let's see if you guys can see this. So if I come over here and I do this, I got a little whiteboard over here. Can you guys see this? You probably can't, but I'm just going to talk real loud. So you got, it's too far. Sorry. I'll reset it so that you guys can see it later, but let me just do it so it's simpler. So Mitzi, with your cholesterol, when you look at your cholesterol, total cholesterol means jack diddly squat poo poo. Total cholesterol. If your total cholesterol is above 199, every single allopathic medical doctor wants to put you on a cholesterol medication. And when you ask them why, they say, well, that's what we do. Well, what do you mean? Why is my cholesterol high? Well, that's not what we do. Okay, so do you understand that? Like going to your medical doctor and getting mad because they're giving you statin drugs and a shot is kind of like me getting mad if I take my wife to my, plumber to deliver the baby. Like that's not good. Okay, so when you look at blood test, you want to look at total cholesterol. Okay, that tells you something, but then you want to look at the breakdown of the cholesterol. And what we find increases in 2 major parts of it. So Mitzi, if your triglycerides are high, it's because your diet's crap. That's it. That is completely dietary driven. There are some genetic predispositions, but it's diet. If your triglycerides are high, that means you're eating too many carbohydrates. I cannot make it any simpler. You're eating too many carbohydrates. If your triglycerides are high, you've got to get your daily intake of carbohydrates below 60. Okay, below 60, because a triglyceride is half fat and half sugar. That's it. Okay, so stop eating sugars if triglycerides are high and cut your carbohydrates down to like 50 or 60 grams a day maximum, and then retest it in like 90 days and see what happened. Okay. Number 2, you got to look at your LDL. I love how they always say good fat versus bad fat, but neither one of them are fats, right? Your HDL and LDL. Your HDL should be above a 50. Okay. If it's not, that's a big problem. And your LDL, listen, your low density lipoproteins, you guys, that's the cleanup crew for your body. Your liver's making that in an attempt to clean stuff up in your diet. Now, yes, LDL can increase with certain types of food choices, but usually it's because the liver's toxic, the liver's problematic, or because your diet is just crap and you have a lot of heavy metals, microplastics, you need to detoxify your body or help support your detox pathways, you really should go on a carnivore ketogenic diet. You should get your genetics tested. That can tell you if you have genetic predispositions for cholesterol issues, and then you can modify and tweak your lifestyle then. But here's what I'm going to tell you. When I see high cholesterol, first of all, I look for, why is the cholesterol high? It's usually because something else is low. So low vitamin D, listen, low vitamin D can cause high cholesterol. Low vitamin A, D, E, and K, any of the fat soluble ones, but especially vitamin D, low vitamin D causes high cholesterol. So if that vitamin D is not between an 80 and a 100 nanograms per milliliter on a blood test, start there. That's number one. Number two, you've got to look at your hormones. If you have low testosterone, low progesterone, low estrogen, that's going to cause your liver to make more cholesterol because your hormones are made from cholesterol. So if cholesterol is low, if your hormones are low, the brain says, hey, cholesterol, make some more of that. Hey, liver, make some more of that cholesterol, and let's get some more hormones made. So that's a big one. Heavy metals like zinc, cadmium, lead, mercury, we find those levels elevated. We see that the liver increases LDLs. Okay. If you are not sleeping well, if you're not getting to bed, like lights out, sleepy time by 10:30 at night, between 10:30 at night and 2 a.m. in the morning, if you're not getting solid sleep between that time, then your glucocorticoids, your cortisol level is going to go up, and that's going to cause you to literally be insulin resistant first thing in the morning. And if you give yourself any type of carbohydrate or sugar, even like creamer in your coffee or something like, sugar in your coffee, you're feeding insulin resistance. So there's so many things that can be done to help with cholesterol. What I would do is make sure I'm prioritizing my sleep. I'm eating a carnivore ketogenic type diet. I'm cleaning up my liver. A liver detoxification program would be so smart for you to do. Like one of the smartest things you could possibly do would be that. And those things can really help you massively. So Mitzi, I hope that helps. There's a lot that can be done with cholesterol. We have a BioLimitless user's guide to cholesterol as well. You should go check that out. Okay, couple more questions here. This is Lorraine. Lorraine says, I read that calcium can cause constipation. You read that correctly. Is that true? If so, will cell signal worsen? No. Okay. So there's no calcium in here. Okay. The calcium that's in here is calcium BHB. So it's BHB calcium. Okay. So that's what's in this formula. It's got 480 milligrams of that calcium. Okay. I'm not a big fan of adding a lot of calcium. This is calcium BHB that's in here. Okay. This will help keep the bowels moving. All right. Because it helps the signals of the body move like it's supposed to. Great question. And I will tell you, a lot of people are massively over supplementing calcium. I don't supplement calcium with patients unless it shows up on a blood test that they need it or a urine test that they need it. Okay. Rena says, hey, doc, are you kidding me? She says, hey, share your thoughts on laser therapy with shockwave therapy, decompression for herniated disc L405. So I have a couple class 4 lasers in my offices. I have shockwave therapy in my offices. So we use a lot of modalities to help speed up cellular healing. We do a lot of modalities chemically, but we do a lot of modalities physically. So I think that is a fantastic place to start. Here's the thing though. So when you've got a herniated disc at L4, L5, which, I mean, I see that every day with people. I see that hundreds of times a week with people. So when you've got physical decompression in your spine, you need that opened up. Spinal decompression is one of many therapies that are beneficial for that, but there are other ones that are just as good, right? But you got to rehydrate that disc. So Rena, you got to make sure that you're drinking at least 2 liters of water a day minimum. You need to be making sure that you're getting at least, with my patients that have disc bulges, disc herniations, I put them on 10,000 to 20,000 IUs a day of vitamin D3. D is necessary for the disc. I put them on women, 120 grams minimum a day of protein, because you need that protein to get that disc to reconstitute. You also need to make sure you're getting a lot of good, healthy minerals and salt. So I throw them on my Detox Pro Plus formula, and I give them about a teaspoon or a half a tablespoon of organic sea salt per day. But I'm a huge fan of that. Shockwave therapy uses ultrasonic sound waves. It's kind of like, lithotripsy when you go break up kidney stones. We use our shockwave therapies to do more than even just musculoskeletal pain. It's pretty amazing what you can do with it. And laser just speeds up the body. I mean, listen, it talks about it in the Bible. We're salt and light. Well, salt is minerals, so you better eat your doggone salt. And light is laser and vitamin D. So if I can introduce some good if I can introduce some good sequences of, let me close this, see if that helps, of light and salt in the body, that's going to help immensely. Questions that I'm going to get seeing patients this morning. Okay, hold on. Julia. Man, sorry guys. I've got some sketchy internet going on or something. Okay, so Julie says, hey, my chiropractor is going to try this on me. They've diagnosed me with degenerative arthritis. Okay, let me tell you something. How many of you have ever seen an MRI or an X-ray and it says degenerative disc disease or degenerative arthritis disease? Like, you guys, neither one of those are diseases. Those are compensatory compensation patterns that the body has, okay? And they're not diseases. Like, I remember going to school and being told that you can't reverse disc disease. Like, when you look at an X-ray or an MRI and the disc is compressed like this, they call that degenerative disc disease. Okay. Well, we now can rehydrate, reconstitute, and realign the spine and the disc. Like, that can be done. We've been doing it for 23 years in my practices now. So it's not a disease. Okay. It's not a disease. All right. Definitely not a disease. Okay. Let's see. Yes, Joshua, check this out. Hey, Josh says, hey man, is there anything I can add to my wife's triple stack routine? Her stomach is really bad after chemo. Yeah. Okay. So listen, chemo kills off all the bacteria. Do this. So let's check out your wife's stomach acid. It's probably too low. We don't have enough stomach acid for your wife. Joshua, go get some baking soda. Get an organic baking soda. And what I want you to do is I want you to get some warm water, like 2 to 3 ounces of warm water, put a full teaspoon of baking soda in there, stir it up, and have her drink it down and wait like 3 minutes. If she does not burp within 3 minutes, her problem is she doesn't have enough stomach acid, enough HCl in her stomach. This is very common post-chemo, very common. That's why metabolism gets low. That's why muscles waste away when people take chemo, is because it shuts off the HCl. HCl, hydrochloric acid, is the acid necessary to produce protease, the enzyme, which breaks down protein so you can absorb it. So here's what you need to do. If she fails the the baking soda challenge test, then do these 3 things. Number 1, put her on a plant-based multi-enzyme with each meal. Okay, a plant-based multi-enzyme with each meal. I use a formula called Digest. This is what I use. Okay, look, it's a plant-based multi-enzyme. It has to be a plant-based multi-enzyme. And when you look at it, your protease needs to be between a 3 and a 9. That's really important, okay? So I'd give her one of those with each meal. That'll help. Go get something called betaine HCl. Betaine HCl. Betaine HCl, you can take 1 or 2 of these with each meal, especially when she eats protein. And she should be eating a lot of protein, okay? And then what she should be taking is something called ox bile salt. OX bile salt. Okay, do those with each time she eats. That'll make her digestion easier and smoother. We got to repair her gut microbiome. I know she's on the master microbiotics. After chemo, my experience is it could take up to 12 to 14 months to completely repair the gut microbiome. Now, a lot of times the stomach is going to hurt because of that low stomach acid, and she's going to be more prone to developing things like H. pylori. So you can knock down that H. pylori by doing those enzymes and things like that I told you, and make sure that she's having, Joshua, that drink I talked about with the salt in the morning, and then at nighttime the salt with the the chia seeds in it. That really would help her. Okay. That really would help her a ton. Okay. Let's see. Mitzi says, hey, doc, I heard you say something about peptides. Do you use them with your patients and give guidance? Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, we've been doing peptides in our practice now for over 18 years. Peptides are not a new thing. It's new to the regular world because they used to call us quacks for using peptides. And now you all found out how good they were. And Big Pharma let it out of the bag with some of the things they're marketing right now. And they're doing it so backwards. But that's why people are getting hurt and people are dying. But, you know, that's their business model, right? But yeah, we use peptides. We have peptides in a lot of our formulas. We do injectable peptides, oral peptides. There's a lot of peptides for a lot of things. Here's what I will tell you. Peptides are not a magic cure, okay? They're not a magic pill, magic potion, magic shot. They are a tool to be used for a reason, a season, in some cases off and on for a lifetime. But most people shouldn't be stacking all these peptides together. We're now finding all these stacks that people are doing is jacking them up because there's a lot of peptide posers that are out there. People that are, you know, they're learning about these new peptides and they sound really cool and amazing, but they've never done shit with patients in the clinical setting. So I don't even know why people listen to most of these talking heads that are on social media that never treated a patient in their life and don't really know how to manage true care. Well, there's a lot of peptide posers, Mitzi, and there's a lot of, you know, functional medicine posers out there because, you know, people are like, I want to go to a functional doctor. I want to find the root cause. Well, your medical doctors don't know how to do that shit. They've never been trained on that. I know, because I wasn't trained on that classically. So anyway, pardon my French. Let's see here. A couple more. Jenna says, hey, how can I help neuropathy in my toes and from Lyme disease? Okay, well, what's your blood sugar like first, Jenna? If your blood sugar A1C is above 5.6, it's pretty tough to fix neuropathy. What's your good healthy fat intake? You know, the outside layer of the nerve, so this little yellow thing, that's made of cholesterol, okay, and fat. And you got to have good fat in your diet. If you don't have good fat in your diet, you'll never regenerate that. So I put all my neuropathy patients on a ketogenic food plan. I get their blood sugars below a 5.6 first. I get their liver to open and detoxify because the liver, when you got neuropathy, you got a lot of backup blockage of stuff in the body. And literally the body's robbing Peter to pay Paul. It says, hey, I'm so sick on the inside that I don't really care if I feel my fingers and toes. I got to put all my soldiers in the middle part to try to help everything. So there's a lot that can be done. It's really a loaded question, but I see dozens of patients every day with neuropathy. We have to treat it physically, chemically, and neurologically. We stimulate the nerves so they wake up. We got to give the body the chemistry it needs to get the toxins out and to get the nutrients in. And then we got to do the physical work to the body because a lot of times, like if there's numbness, tingling in the legs and the feet, there's physical misalignment or compression in the spine and the low back. If there's numbness and tingling in the hands and the fingers, there's compression in the cervical spine. Even if you've had radiation, even if you've had chemotherapy, Lyme disease, you know, other things that can cause neuropathy, there's usually a multifactorial component. There's hardly ever one treatment, one modality that fixes it. I always find it with patients that have a physical problem. Usually it's a spinal related misalignment or nerve compression. We find liver congestion. We find high blood sugars. We find low vitamin D3 with almost all of our neuropathy patients. And you got to do the right things. And they don't have high enough HDL. They don't have enough good fat in their body. So we tell them you got to start eating every day extra virgin olive oil, MCT oil, coconut oil, those kinds of things like that, and avoiding seed oils. Okay. Mitzi says with her cholesterol, says, Mitzi, let me ask you this. Okay. Let me ask you this, Mitzi, with your cholesterol issues, when they told you that it was genetic, okay, and you should get your daughter and grandkids tested, did they run a genetic test on you? And do you remember what the gene was? Was it an APO gene, APOE, or APO gene? Let me know what gene that they told you that you had going on, because here's what I'll tell you. Your genetics are not your destiny. Your DNA is not your destiny, okay? Your DNA loads the gun, but your lifestyle is what pulls the trigger, okay? So if your lifestyle, you may have certain genetic predispositions for cholesterol problems. Totally get it. That just means your lifestyle needs to be lived in a specific way so that you don't have problems for it. And medications aren't the answer to that. In fact, just so that we're very, very crystal clear on this, you know that statins lower the chances of getting a heart attack, okay, by 2%. That's a fact. Statins lower the risk of a heart attack by 2%. That's what the data shows. Like the next time you ask your doctor, like when they prescribe a statin or cholesterol med, say, hey, I got a question for you. First of all, what's the cause of my high cholesterol? Like, hey, I may take these meds for a moment because you're freaking out because my cholesterol is above a 400 and my triglycerides are a 300. But like, what's the cause of it? And what can I do to fix it? I might take a medication short term. And let me tell you, full transparency, I have a lot of my patients that are on medications because they're in a crisis phase. I need to get them stabilized so that we can put them together. And a lot of times they come in on meds, or we'll manage their meds for a while we're working on fixing the root cause. So it's all about finding the cause of the problems. Okay. All about the cause. All right. Stephanie, let me tell you about this. So cataracts. All right, so there's a lot of advanced therapies going on with eyes right now. Let me just tell you something. There's a protocol going around that a lot of functional doctors are doing, and we've been using it here in our practices. And oh my gosh, has it been helping with, patients of mine that have cataracts and glaucomas and vision issues and eye infections and all kinds of stuff, floaters and you name it. There's a peptide called BPC-157. We take that peptide and we add it to something called Argentine 23. It's a hydrolyzed silver. We do a very little bit of BPC-157 into basically I think it's like maybe 8 fluid ounces, it's 3 fluid ounces of the silver. And we have the patients do 3 to 5 drops in each eye twice a day. And we've had some ridiculously fantastic results with that because it knocks down the inflammation, helps the body heal. It's a powerful, powerful deal, like a powerful deal. Okay. Julie says, hey doc, if you've had a hysterectomy, you will have low hormones, right? Yeah, for sure. And says, what do you do about that? Shy of hormone replacement. Okay, totally understand that. So Julie, here's what I'm gonna tell you is, first of all, over the age of 40, men and women, if you're not doing something to support your hormones, that's not okay. Okay. Now there are lots of things that you can do naturally for your hormones, but I will also tell you that I put a lot of my patients, almost all my patients, especially women over the age of 40, guys over the age of 40, when their hormones are low, on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. We've been doing that for almost 20 years in our practices. And now that the latest research and data has come out and said, hey, women should be getting some natural testosterone therapy and some estrogen and progesterone, we have compounding pharmacies that make those things for us. And I get the hesitancy, but if you work with a provider that and you don't use these heavy synthetic hormones, then you're going to be fine. But you got to have the precursors to the hormones. Like if your cholesterol level is too low, you can't make hormones. If your vitamin D is too low, you can't make hormones. If you don't have enough protein in your body, like you can't make hormones. You don't have enough good fat. Women need 50 grams of fat a day to make hormones. If you don't have all those ingredients, you can't make hormones. But hormones don't work if your cells don't signal. And your hormones don't work if your liver is not functioning. So there's so much more to it than just taking hormones. That's why a lot of times when people have hormone imbalances and they go to their doctor to get hormone replacement therapy, they go to these, men's clinics that gives out testosterone like it's freaking Tic Tacs, or you go to your OBG or some medical doctor that's figured out how to monetize, selling you, creams and stuff like that, which I get it. But if they're not looking at all the other things, they're not really helping you. So I don't like a non-comprehensive approach. At least that's just me. Okay. That's just me. All right. Appreciate you guys. Claudia, good morning. Good to see you guys. Lorraine, always good. Cher, good to see you. Let's see. So I had a wreck okay. Miss Cher says, hey, I had a wreck a couple weeks ago. The ER did a head CT scan, found that I have a mini stroke sometime in the past. That's not uncommon. People have symptoms of strokes and blockages, or they have signs of blockages and strokes all the time where they don't even know they've had. I think the studies have also shown that the average female on autopsy of death has 5 or 6 old cancers that have healed, or tumors in their body, and guys who have a little less, they didn't even know they had, because your body's just always in a constant state of dealing with it. Okay. So that's awesome. Let's see. She says, I'm on the triple stack now. Should I be worried? Anything I should do? Well, I mean, no, the triple stack's great, but you need to make sure you're eating well, a carnivore ketogenic diet, that you're sleeping well, 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, that you're breathing well, especially at nighttime, you're nose breathing, not mouth breathing. And if you are a mouth breather, you should mouth tape. Okay. I'm a big fan of mouth taping, huge fan of mouth taping at nighttime. You should make sure that you're exercising. You should be doing at least 2 days a week resistance training. Everybody over the age of 40 should be doing at least 2 days a week of resistance training for 35 to 45 minutes, a push-pull upper body and a push-pull lower body. It's totally fine. Okay. Totally fine. All right. Okay. What else? So, okay. Then you need to also make sure that you're supporting your cardiovascular system. The triple stack helps you with that, and it helps with methylation. There's a lot of other things that can be, done to help as well, but it's all about just getting yourself healthier. That's the big thing that you should be focused on. Okay. Tina says, what are your thoughts on red light therapy? I'm a huge fan of red light therapy. Okay. I'm a huge fan of red light therapy. All right. It's got to be the right kind of red light. It's got to have the right frequencies. Let me pull up the red light promos frequencies that we've got. So here's what you need to look for with red lights. So I'm pulling up the red light guide that I put together for folks. So red light therapy devices, it depends on what you're using, but it's all about the wavelengths. So you want to have at least a 660. Okay. 660 is the red light. I also have, so we use red light and near infrared light. So 660 to 850, those are the ones that you want to have. If it doesn't have both, then it's not a complete treatment. You want to have the infrared and near infrared. So 660 and 850 as well. Those are really big ones. And I try to use my infrared sauna at least a couple days a week. Hey, you know what? This is this is a question, Mama D, I get from a lot of people all the time. It's, as we get older, it's harder to consume as much food, right? So we don't get our protein macros in as much as we're supposed to. And ladies, you need 120 grams a day. So listen, think about this. Eggs have 8 to 10 grams per egg. A chicken breast typically has 20 to 25 grams of protein. A serving of beef has 20 to 25 grams of protein. Greek yogurt has 20 grams, 17 to 20 grams of protein in it. So you're going to need to supplement with some type of protein shake as well. And I'm a big fan of organic isolate whey. Even people who have lactate issues, because it's 90% protein, do really well with organic or grass-fed isolate whey. Not whey protein concentrate, but isolate is a big difference. Okay. And then I'm a big fan also. I'm currently taking a protein that has it's beef powder protein extract, beef powder protein. Okay. And it's grass-fed organic. Basically what they do is they take a cow, they whack off the horns, they whack off the hooves, they put all the organs and all the meat in a grinder, dry it up, and send it to you. That is great because then you can get your protein better. Just be careful with any canned foods. I don't know if you guys know this, but after World War II, when we started canning foods a lot more, like artificially canning them, people started getting a lot more arsenic and heavy metals and mercuries in their system. And depending upon what they can them in, that can cause that food to be rancid and not be healthy at all. So just be careful about that. But I get it. Like Mama D, I get it. It's not good to not get your protein. Okay. Julie says, my doctor told me to do vitamin D. She said my levels were too high. I only took 10,000 a day. What my doctor told me to do, I think you're telling me, Julie, to not take vitamin D. What was your blood test? If it's above 120 nanograms per milliliter on a blood test, then you don't need to be taking 10,000 a day. Maybe 5,000 is good. But what was the number? I want to know, what was the number? What was your number, Julie? Tell me, what was your number on your vitamin D? Could you let me know that before the live's over? Because I'm really curious. I want to see if your doctor knows what they're doing or not. And by the way, just so you know, 10,000 IUs of vitamin D is not a high dose, okay, at all. Did you know that when you're outside in the sunshine, when the sun's at its highest and you don't have any glasses on, including your sunglasses or glasses like I've got on, and you're shirtless, do you know that in about 40 minutes, your body will produce 20,000 units of vitamin D3? Did you know that? So let me know what your number was. What was your blood test number, Julie? Let me know that. Okay. Let me know that. Okay. Lori says, hey, I can't sleep more than 4 hours. I have so many problems, digestion. I can't eat many foods because I need my teeth pulled. God bless you. Been sick a lot with a lot of things. Triple stack is good. It is a good place to start. That's definitely a good place to start. And cool. Hey, what I want to do as well, I'd like to, in the very near future, I'm going to have my team flag some of you guys to see who's interested. But if you guys want me to do a live reading of either like your blood report or your DNA report, if you want me to do that and like give you like a live consult, here's what you should look at, here's what's going on, I'd be happy to do that for you. Show you how functional medicine doctors kind of assess things. I'd be down for that. Totally. So Lori, here's what I tell you about sleeping. A lot of times at nighttime, if you can't sleep more than 4 hours, the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response is probably stuck on go. So going and doing some vagus nerve exercises would be a really good thing for you to do. That'd be really smart to do. Vagus helps rest, relax, digest, grow, and develop. That's what it does. Okay. So vagus nerve exercises. We have a program called the cortisol reset, doing some things to reset your cortisol because probably you're overstressed because of physical, chemical, and emotional stresses. You're overstressed. Your adrenals have been hammered. And at nighttime, when you're sleeping, your body's producing cortisol, and it's glucocorticoids, and it's producing sugar. And so you're probably insulin resistant, and that's why you're only able to sleep for about 4 hours. Sometimes people wake up, have to have something to eat or drink so they can go back to sleep. I wonder if that's you. And then digestive issues are really the genesis of a lot of sleeping problems and eating too late at night. Lori, why don't you try this? Why don't you try eating like breakfast, lunch, and an early dinner and be done eating by like 5 o'clock every day and see if that changes your sleeping patterns and lets you sleep through the night. You can still get the same amount of calories and the same amount of macros. You're just fasting later in the day than fasting in the morning. That literally could help you a lot. Okay, Claudia, I'll go a little deeper about cholesterol. I've already got so just so you guys know, starting actually next Tuesday night, I'm going to be doing some webinars. Basically I'll be doing a 30 to 45 minute webinar on specific topics Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And one of the topics is going to be on cholesterol. Okay. So that is super good. Oh man, this is good. Renee, you're right, sis. All right. So guys, let me tell you something. Renee just nailed it on the head. So have you ever heard of the word ease? E-A-S-E? It means, it's Latin for balance. Ease. E-A-S-E. That means everything's at balance. Your body's at ease. E-A-S-E. So when you're at balance, you're in a state of ease. When you get out of balance a little bit, you get into a state of dis, which is without, dis-ease. Okay. Dis-ease is when you're out of balance, you're going down the 7 stages of disease. Okay. But you haven't got to disease state yet. Let me see if I've got that in here. Renee, check this out. I think you'll really appreciate this. I don't know if this is in here, but I've got, yes, it is. Brilliant. I think this is the one. Renee, check this out. Yep. Okay. So there are 7 stages of disease. Excuse me. So when your body is in balance, you're in a state of ease. All right. So let me do this. Let me make this a little bit bigger so we can see each other here. There we go. All right. So there are 7 stages of disease that happens. When your body's balanced, everything is at ease, right? The signals are firing in the cells. Your cells are communicating. The pumps are pumping. Your terrain is balanced. You don't have inflammatory issues. Your autonomic nervous system's good. And your physiology from a metabolic standpoint is flexible and all is good. Okay. So when you're in ease, everything's perfect. Okay. You're getting stressed, but your body can handle it. You're getting stressed, but your body can handle it. What happens is whenever you get in dis-ease, Now we start to go down the 7 stages. Now you're going to get loss of cell voltage. You're going to get loss of cell communication. Now you're going to get terrain imbalance. Now you're going to get inflammation. Now the vagus nerve is going to not fire. Then you're going to get a metabolic inflexibility. Then you get into a state of disease. So the only way to fix disease is to reverse and go back from disease to dis-ease, and then work that all the way back up the 7 stages of healing now, and get your body back into ease. Does that make sense? Like, I really want to know if that makes sense to people, because it seems to me that these concepts, they're very commonsensical concepts to me, because I've done this for 20 years, right? But it's like such a nuanced conversation that most people have never apparently heard before. So Renee, let me know, does that make sense? Does that make sense that you've got, that I've answered that? Okay. Bethany says, hey doc, I don't like putting her son on ADHD meds for the long-term effects. No, I agree. I mean, okay. Do me a favor, Bethany. By the way, today I think is like the last day, or there's one more day of the month. The Bio 30 promo that we've got, the Bio 30 promo is ending at the end of this month. It was 30% off all my formulas, all my products. Hey, Bethany, go get yourself a 90-day supply of Cell Signal. And if you do 90 days, use a promo code BIO30X3. BIO30X3. Okay. If you'll do that, that promo code will give you 35% off for the next 3 months. I want your son on this formula alone for the next 3 months. Let's see what happens. And then maybe after month 1 of it, maybe you have a conversation with whoever put him on those meds to start weaning him off of that. Because what I do in my practice with my folks that have ADD, ADHD is, the first thing I do is I get dairy out of their diet. The second thing that we do is we remove gluten from their diet. The third thing that we do is we add the methylated B vitamins, the Cell Signal formula, and then we let it go. We do depending on how old your child is. If he's under the age of 18 or a small adult, then I would do 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills midday with him. And all you need, if you need a doctor's note written to take it to school, Bethany, I'll write you one so that your kid can have that. Because I'm telling you, it's been a game changer. And let your kid exercise. Let your kid move. ADD is a superpower. It's not, ADD, ADHD was not made to live and sit in a chair for 7 to 8 hours a day. ADD, ADHD was not made to